Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the other side of Rock Bottom. I'm your host, Kathy. On this channel, we share real stories of recovery, healing, and hope. And we do that with a deep respect for trauma and the many ways that it shows up in our lives. Today's I'm honored to be with Michelle, who has bravely agreed to share her story. One important thing to know is that Michelle experienced significant trauma early in life, and like many survivors, she doesn't have memories before the age of 13. That in itself is not a weakness, it's a sign of how the mind protects us. So today, we're going to focus not on what she can't remember, but on what she knows, what she's lived, and how she's healing now. So, Michelle, thanks for being here, hon. All right, so
Hi.
let's just jump right in. Let's get started where your memories do begin. What do you remember about your life around 13 or shortly thereafter?
Okay, so it starts kind of funny. You know how 13-year-olds are really curious? My mom had a metal box in the bottom of her closet, and she always kept these papers in it. And I always wondered what was in there. So I snuck in there one day and got in her box, and boy, did I get something I was not prepared for. I found adoption papers. I found out I was adopted that day. It was the old onion skin papers from the 80s. I was born in 82. I'm 43 years old, and it had my biological mom's name on it. It didn't have a father, and it had my adoptive parents. So that's where the story really begins because this was where this opened a door that I didn't know I was fixing to walk through. Um, First, let me say my name is Michelle Palmer. I'm a woman in long term recovery. I've been clean since October 7th, 2022, which has not been easy. But more than that, it means I'm alive and I'm healing and I'm learning how to live without drugs for the first time. I discovered I was adopted. In one moment, everything about my life felt like it shattered. I felt betrayed. I felt unwanted, like I didn't belong anywhere. That was a big wound that opened up in me. So by 14, I became rebellious. I was, excuse my language, the teen for male. Anything you told me don't do, I broke my neck to do it. I thought, well, I used words that I regret today, but of course I was young, dumb, and stupid. I would tell my mama, well, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my mama. And I've apologized many times over for that. By 14, I was sneaking out at night, chasing attention, validation, flirting with boys I had no business being around. I met an older guy, and this is where I got introduced to cocaine. And it was like the first line said something inside me said, "This is how I'm going to survive my pain." And I ain't gonna lie, from the first line, I loved it. I fell in love with something. By 16, I was a full blown crack addict. He had also introduced me to crack. We had this lake by our house. We used to skip school, and I would go down there with him. And I seen him hitting a pipe one day, and I was like, "Hey, I want to try that." Boy, if I could go back now. That started a 26-year long addiction. Um, let's see. I'm sorry, I've got notes. I was using before school, during school, and after school. I looked like the kid on the outside, but inside I was drowning. Um, and then I came the moment that everything changes when I first tried the crack, and I thought like that was my best friend.
Right.
It happened at the lake near my school. One hit, just one. That's all it takes, y'all. So please, if you've got people who are even thinking about it, please stop them because it rewired my whole entire life. It didn't just numb me; it actually ended up owning me. It became my escape, my comfort, my best friend, my punishment, and later on, it became my whole identity. And like I said, it held me for 26 years. Um, Life's a little bit of a blur up until I was 21 after that because all I did was party, rip and run. Uh, my 20s are a little bit of a blur, but I know a little bit more of addiction, abusive relationships. I had an ex, my ex husband, God rest his soul, is now deceased, which is my child's daddy. Um, he was my first dope man. I thought I was all that because the dope man wanted me and moved in with him at 16. and actually didn't realize that he was prepping me to be trafficked. And he was a very beautiful relationship. He had me thinking there at the end that he would kill my whole family if I left him. Um, so he had me brainwashed. He had me dancing in strip clubs. He had me selling my body on the corner. I lived in and out of motels, walked the streets, jumping in and out of cars with strangers just because I wanted money for the next hit. Then I thought I was being slick, and I would give him most of the money like I'm supposed to, but I would also pocket some in my bra, not thinking that he would find it. Well, that led to more abuse. That led to me being strip searched every day when I came in. And this went on for about 10 years. And he used to drag me down the steps by the hair of my head, beat me up. If I didn't feel good that day, there was not feeling good. You're going out whether you like it or not. Basically, you might as well say he was pimping me. And I ended up pregnant, and that's when I ran away. Um, I had a DNA test. It was his. My daughter is now 22. And the whole time I wasn't living, I was disappearing. I'd been arrested, trafficked, slept in abandoned motel rooms just so I didn't have to go home to him. I didn't know if I would live to see the next day, especially in a relationship with him. I had no family. I wasn't allowed to have a cell phone. I basically didn't have no identity, and I lost all hope in humanity. People think addicts don't feel anything, but the truth is we feel everything, and we feel it too deeply. And I was tired. I was tired of running, tired of hurting. So from about 26 to about 37, I'm completely blank. I do know that I had ran away from him. I moved to Atlanta, got a sugar daddy, thought I was all that. He was paying for my loft on Peachtree Street in downtown Atlanta. He just wanted some eye candy. So I thought he was stupid. He was in his 70s. So I started working on the internet as a call girl. And you couldn't tell me nothing. I had money. I had a loft. I woke up every day with an eight ball on my dresser. I thought I had it made. I could smoke all the dope I wanted as long as I was there for him, and I could dress up and look like Cinderella on Friday and Saturday nights for his friends. And he passed away, left me a bunch of money, um, which I had a falling out with his family about. So I took the money he left me, went to Atlanta, and went through a $19,000 lawsuit in about 6.5 weeks. That's all it took. I went through $19,600. I'll never forget that as long as I live because I almost killed myself doing it. Everybody says you can't overdose on crack. I'm the proving that it is. You can. I literally smoked myself sober. I had been up for 25 days. I'll never forget as long as I live. And I started coughing really bad to where my chest was rattling, and that's when I found out I had pneumonia. I almost died in the hospital with pneumonia. I guess I was around 31, 32 then. But addiction is so horrible that I didn't care. All I wanted was the next hit. Even though I knew I was pumped up with machines and everything in the hospital, I was still having my dope man bring me dope to the hospital. That's how sick in the head I was. I was going in the bathroom smoking dope at the hospital, hooked up to machines, IVs. Uh, I knew I had a problem, but I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know if I wanted to be honest. I got in a truck with a truck driver that I used to take trips with, came to Houston. We got into a fight. He left me, and that's how I ended up here in Texas. That was 14 years ago. uh, Basically, it's the same story over and over for the next 14 years. Walking the streets, jumping in and out of cars, until the day that I jumped in the wrong car. Um, Russian guy picked me up. We went to his house. I was supposed to do my deed for everybody who knows about, you know, prostitution, you know how it works. So I asked him if I could take a shower before we got started. And he said, yeah. When I come out the bathroom, he had a gun pointed at me. And he hit me in the back of the head with it. And that's the last thing I remember. When I woke up, I had been in a coma for 4 months in the hospital. I found out later on the neighbor done her early morning run every morning, and that morning she found me naked, bleeding in the ditch. So I was tossed away like a used cigarette to die. Um, I guess, yeah, I was about 38 when that happened because it took me 3.5 years to learn how to walk again. Um, I have scars on my face. I have a scar here where I had a tube in my throat because I couldn't breathe on my own for a long time. Um, I now have a lot of physical problems because of that night. I don't know what happened to me, but what the doctor said, from the extent of my injuries, I had to been gone 3 or 4 days with much, much, much abuse. And personally, to be honest with you, I don't want to know what happened. I'm in early recovery, even though I've been clean 39 months now. I don't think I'm clean enough or ready for that yet. That's something I'm gonna have to, you know, revisit later on in life. Um, if I'm ever ready.
Right.
So I'm gonna fast forward to 2021 April is when I met the guy who is now my husband. Uh, Funny how God works. So he picked me up. I stayed a week at his house. He let me smoke my dope, all that. But he told me, he said, I'll give you a place to stay. You can change your life. And I wasn't ready. And I told him I wasn't ready. He said, but you can't do that here anymore. I said, well, then take me back to Houston. I don't want to change it. And I didn't see that man again until October 7th, 2022. So in January of 22, was it yeah, January, a van shows up in downtown Houston where the Greyhound is, and a guy gets out and a lady gets out, and they were going around asking, "Hey, is anybody ready to go? Does anybody want to change their life?" Blah blah blah. I looked at him, and all I could do was cry. I couldn't even say yes. I couldn't speak. I left my. I looked at the guy that I was standing there with, and I was like, "Here," and I handed him my cash, my dope, everything. I left. I went to Austin Restoration Ministries in Austin, Texas, and that was the first time I was ever clean. I was clean up till June. Did good for myself, got weight on me, and I thought I was ready to go, that I could handle the other side. Boy, was I wrong. I was gone 2 days and I relapsed. um, so this went on back to the same old routine, selling my body, doing everything I was doing. But this time I was sleeping in an alley on a mattress with blankets behind 6th Street where all the clubs are at. And I thought I was okay. I wasn't hurting nobody. I could go and come as I pleased. I didn't have bills to pay. I thought I had it made. Everybody didn't know me, so I was lying, saying I'd been in prison, and they just don't remember me because I didn't want anybody thinking I was a snitch or anything. And so I made my way down there, and I went downhill really fast then. I was using 5 to 15 days at a time, um, sneaking behind buildings, turning tricks real quick, walking blocks with people to go do something. Guys waking me up when I actually did get some sleep, talking about they had some dope. Boom, there I was, gone again. Um, it was nonstop. And I knew I was tired because I could feel my body shutting down. Uh, 2 days before I seen my husband, who is now my husband now, I had been up for 21 days straight. And I didn't even have the energy to get off the pallet of blankets to go across the street and go use the restroom. I knew then that I had messed up. I couldn't get up. I couldn't hardly talk. My throat was raw from all the smoking and stuff I was doing. So I would lay there and I would urinate on myself. I had just given up. The day before I seen him, I'll never forget that day as long as I live, because that was the night I asked God to take my life. I wasn't one that could do it myself. I don't know. I just could never do it. But I asked God to not let me wake up the next morning. I was tired. I was sick. Um, I was probably 90 pounds soaking wet, and I'm 5'7". So if that tells you anything, I was a bag of bones. Um, I gave up. It was that point where I didn't want to live no more. And rock bottom, if you go back out, your rock bottom keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think this is the deepest I could go. And I wasn't expecting to wake up the next morning. I slept for 2 days. So October 7th, 2022, he said I rose up for something. And he seen me. And he come and tapped me on the shoulder and he said, I've been looking for you since the day I dropped you off. I thought you was dead. I didn't know what to think. The only thing I could ask him is if he still lived in the country. And he said, yes. And I said, take me with you. And that's the day that my story changed.
Wow.
I prayed on the way here. I prayed on the way here, God, if you let this man keep me, I'll stop doing what I'm doing. And when we got here, I gave him my pipe. I gave him my money. I gave him the clothes I had on. I told him, put it all in the garbage, take it out the house. And I haven't used since. And that, as hard as I thought it would be, that was the best thing I've ever done. That day changed my whole life. Exactly 1 year after that, I got married. Um, I'm now in college, fixing to have a bachelor's in psychology with a concentration in addictions and trauma. So not only am I learning what I need to learn to work in the field, I'm also learning about myself.
Yes.
In these classes, it's like putting the puzzles together. I'm learning the who, the what, the why. Answers are finally coming to me. And the day I walked away from the streets for the last time, I wasn't magically healed and I wasn't instantly strong. It doesn't just happen overnight, for those who don't know. I slept for 7 days straight. My body was shutting down, but for the first time in decades, I felt safe. Early sobriety was the hardest part of my entire journey. People think getting clean is the challenge, but it's not. It's the staying clean.
Right.
That's where the real work begins. When I came home, I found out I had double pneumonia. I had 47% in my left lung, 38% fluid in my right. The doctor told me, you don't have a comeback. Your immune system shot out. And if you go back out there, you will die. And so that led to I'm very open about this now just because of what it being what it being. But that's the day I found out I was HIV positive. And I share that because that's one of the things I battle with now. How long did I have it? Who gave it to me? Did I give it to anybody else? I'm undetectable. I take one pill every morning. It has 3 medicines in it. He also takes a pill called the PrEP plan so we can have a healthy relationship. And as long as I stay on my medicine, I can live a very long life. But when I first came home, my hair was falling out, my skin was gray, my bones were sticking out, my eyes were sunk back in my head. I had tremors, night sweats, fevers. I was so exhausted. And I basically had to rebuild my body and my life from the ground up because I had been using from 14 to 40. I didn't know how to live without drugs. I
Right.
couldn't cook. I didn't know how to clean. I didn't know how to do nothing. Thank God, I know he was sent to me from heaven. So because he has put up with so much for me. But one thing he can say, he has never heard me say was, hey, I want to go back out because that's not happening. And I know I skipped around a little bit, but that's my story, y'all. And here I am today.
Wow. Wow, where to even begin? So let me ask you a couple questions now. Since now that you are in recovery, what has been what has been one of the biggest challenges that you faced in early recovery, and how did you overcome it?
I think all the consequences that I'm still paying for my past decisions.
Okay.
Like, for example, I had to pay $1,800 to get my driver's license back that I didn't even know was suspended. So in the state of Tennessee, if you get a drug paraphernalia charge, you get a $150 fine. They don't take you to jail. Well, that was back in my 20s, and I never thought about it. Come to find out, they had suspended my license, and I didn't even know it. So when I finally went up there to get my license changed over, I found out I had been driving on suspended license for over 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
And
Wow.
yeah, the health challenges. I mean, it cost me $1,800 to get my driver's license back. That was a feat in itself.
Yeah.
And
I
health
hear you.
challenges. The health challenges are very big for me. I've recently been diagnosed with COPD, and I know it's because of the cigarettes I smoke and all the many years of smoking the crack. When I first went to the hospital, I'll never forget it. I want to laugh. I'm sorry. I know it's not funny, but I want to laugh. The nurse's face when they pulled my X-ray up of my lungs. I wished I'd have took a picture. It looked
Yeah.
like two cats had took their claws and just scratched up and down my lungs, and that was from the Brillo that we use as screen in the pipes. And some of that will never heal itself. So the outer layer of my lungs is scratched beyond repair. So I take breathing treatments 3, 4 times a day. I use an inhaler. I use a dry inhaler in the mornings, plus my breathing treatments. The doctor's visits. Sometimes I want to cry because it's just so much that I have to deal with now. But it's all because the decisions I made in my past. Another big thing that I find that's a challenge is I still wake up sometimes from using dreams. Even though I've been clean for almost 3.5 years, I still have them. And, I just absolutely thought they would go away, but I guess that doesn't happen. Um, they're very far and few between now. They used to be every night.
Right.
But now I had one the other night that I woke up sweating. I squatted down and threw my whole sobriety away. It was that real. And when I
Wow.
realized where I was at, I just cried tears of joy because somebody told me, "Oh, you have using dreams, but you'll never see yourself get high." That's a lie. That's
Yeah.
the first time I had ever. It was like an out of body experience. It's like I was looking at myself, and I actually got high. And let me tell you, it's almost like I felt it. And when I woke up, my mouth was watering. And I was like, oh no. And then looked around and realized I was in my bedroom, and I looked down and my husband asleep, and I said, thank you, God. And I'm not going to lie, I got up, went in my living room, and I prayed because that's the only thing I knew to do at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was literally sweating bullets. And I hope to God I never have another one of those dreams because I swear I thought I had threw away my whole sobriety.
Yeah. So, what has been one of the biggest things that's helped you so far in your sobriety?
Um, For me, I believe it would be staying busy with recovery related things. I have a lot of
Okay.
projects I do. A lot of people don't know, but I belong to a group called Recover Girls on Facebook. I'm very busy with them. We're giving away backpacks at the end of this month. We have a lot of stuff we do. We have over 40,000 women in our group now, from around the world, and that's a blessing. So I stay. My inbox is always open for them girls. So if somebody messages me, they're going through something, and I'm going to school, like I said, to be an alcohol and drug counselor. So I use what I learned in my school with these ladies. So technically, I'm getting some on training, but
Right.
it's helped me a lot. And I've told my story at 3 rallies now, and that as scared as I was, the questions and stuff afterwards made me so happy that they wanted to know, well, I've only been clean 30 days. I've only been clean 2 weeks. How can I get where you're at? That kind of thing makes me so happy. I got chills already thinking about it. I have a girl now that I'm mentoring. She's been clean 2 weeks from alcohol. She lives here in my community. Um, since getting clean, we have gotten AA meetings started out here. I live in a little one red light country town. We started with one AA meeting. Now we have 3 a week, and one of those being a women only meeting. Um, I've done petitions to get more recovery related stuff in rural communities like this, um, which is my dream. I want to have my own women's center out here. Um, that's my end goal when I graduate, is to start the steps to open my own small women's residential recovery center. So I
Sounds
just
like
keep myself.
giving. Yeah, it sounds like giving back really means a lot to you.
Yes, it does. It does because I know there's nights out there like with the backpack thing. It's so dear to me because I know there's nights out there that I would have never made it if it wouldn't have been for the people giving away the things they was giving away or the food they were giving us. I might have
Mhm.
been went to bed hungry or I might have been cold, but instead God put these people in the right place at the right time to give us jackets and stuff like that. It's little things like that that they don't think means a lot, but they just don't know. I know personally that it means, oh my gosh, so much. And because
Everything.
of me living that life and being in that situation, I understand how they feel. And I don't want
Right.
nobody to ever feel, I don't want nobody to ever feel like I felt. And
Right.
if I could just help one person in the process, it would have all been worth it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, we also have another little surprise about you that I'd like for you to talk about. You've written not just one, two, three, but four books.
Okay, you're gonna make me cry. Okay, so I am the author of the Unbound series. That is a two-book series called Unshamed, which is my journey through 26 years of addiction. And then the second book is Unfinished, which is my journey after sobriety. So it just lets them know that once you get sober, it's not all a bed of roses. You still have things you have to deal with, consequences that still going to come up from your past. And that's what that's about. And it's my true story memoir. It goes more into my story than we did. But then I had a lady come to me and she's like, I feel so alone and blah, blah, blah. And she was just stuck in this part where she didn't have nobody or she felt lonely. And it gave me the idea to write book three, which is Dear Sister. And it's 60 letters to women in addiction recovery. It it has sections for when you feel alone, when you feel lonely, when you're thinking about going back out, when you're early sobriety, when you're celebrating. It's got 60 letters that covers just about everything you go through with the emotions of getting clean. And it's my personal letters to the women. Hey, don't let this stop you. Hey, keep going. Hey, you're almost there, and I feel like that it would help somebody. And then the latest one is called The Girl God Wouldn't Let Go. So it is a Christian fiction, but it's based off of something that happened to me when I was a teenager. So this girl, Jessica, she's 16. She's falling in with the wrong crowd. She's going to parties and stuff. She's being defiant with her mother, and she turns to drugs. Now, this girl gets on alcohol, pills, and cocaine. So she's really doing it. And she's only 16 years old. But by the time she's 18, she's almost died twice already. So
Wow.
she got arrested. In the book, she gets arrested. She goes to a Christian rehab. At first, she's like, I don't know about this. I'm only here. I'll go through the motions, till they let me go. And then she realizes that she likes it there. And she got close to some of the girls there. And she gave her life to God and changed her life. And I really love this story that I wrote because it's a lot of things that a lot of people are dealing with these days with teenagers, especially
Right.
girls.
Right.
So that's my four books. And I also want to put out there that I graduate this year. I graduate in
Congratulations.
October. I graduate in October this year. I tested out this week of four classes. I knew so much that I passed all four of the tests to our equivalency tests. So I actually ended up with an extra 16 credits of classes I don't have to take. So that
Wow.
moves me all the way back up to October. I was supposed to graduate in February, but of next year, but that moved me up to October this year. So I will be flying to
Congratulations.
Savannah, Georgia, and I will actually get to walk across the stage, and I can't wait.
Man alive, you are just doing it, my friend. So listen, I always like to ask everybody before we end it out, what does life on the other side of rock bottom mean to you?
I could say so much about that. I'm not even for sure where to start. You know, Being on the other side of rock bottom is, to me, it's not a bed of roses. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. It's not a straight line. I thought about this question actually. but recovery is possible. It takes me from who I was to who I want to be. And like the book says, unfinished. I'm unfinished. The other side of rock bottom is continuously daily working on yourself. It's knowing that you're not too far gone, that you haven't went too far. It's knowing that you deserve another chance. It's coming to believe that you are worth your recovery, which sometimes I'm not going to lie, I still have problems with, but I'm sober, I'm clean, and as long as I keep doing the next right thing and I keep my hands in stuff like this, I feel like the other side of rock bottom is something you have to show, you can't really feel. It's something you have to lead by action and example. That's how I feel.
Wow. Michelle, thank you so much. I'm going to put your information in the description of this video, guys, so look for that. How we can find you on Facebook and all that kind of good stuff, where we can find your books, more
Okay.
importantly. So I
Okay.
will
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Michelle Palmer. I'm on TikTok as my name on there is Palmer Michelle. I'm very easy to find. I do a lot of recovery videos and hey, your work this kind of videos and stuff like that. I'm on Instagram. Okay, all my books are on Amazon. The only thing you have to do, I'm gonna send you the link after we're finished. But only thing you have to do is go in the search bar of Amazon and put books by Michelle Riffey Palmer. That's Riffey Palmer. And all four of my books will come up. I also have a personal author's webpage that I'll send you the link to that's got everything on it. All the
that sounds
projects we're
great.
doing, the fundraisers, all that.
That sounds
Okay,
great.
so
I will
I've
be
got
sure.
one cool page that's got everything.
All right, that's perfect. I will be sure to include that in the y'all, anyone watching, be sure to look in the description of this video. You'll find all the links to everything Michelle is doing, her books, the group, everything like that. So, Michelle, again, listen, thank you for trusting us with your story, especially the parts shaped by trauma, survival, and healing. Your willingness to speak openly
Yeah.
helps normalize experiences so many people silently carry. So, to anyone watching who's struggling with memory gaps, addiction, or shame, please hear this. You're not broken. You simply survived. If this story touched you, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Stories like Michelle's save lives. This is the other side of rock bottom, where healing doesn't require remembering everything, only choosing to move forward. We'll see you next time.
Are you terrified to face tomorrow? Some mornings feel impossible. But even in the darkest moments, hope is closer than you think. You're not alone. There's hope. Written by Kathy Simmons, a certified recovery coach, Welcome to Recovery is your powerful guide to reclaiming your life. With real stories, practical tools, and compassionate insight, this book lights the way, one page at a time. Whether you're beginning, recommitting, or supporting someone through recovery, find hope, clarity, and strength within these pages. Step into your new chapter. Welcome to Recovery. Take the first step. Get your copy of Welcome to Recovery today and begin your journey to hope.